Hey traders, how are you doing? I hope everybody's okay and everybody's well or is doing well. And as normal as usual, here is Mr. Awesome, and carrying on with those presentations, the most wanted things, the advanced, the ELLIOTT wave. So I'm carrying on with this, and basically it's from what we call the advanced forex, but specifically we're now in a series of sessions from ELLIOTT wave, so it is advanced ELLIOTT wave. So now as normal, our basic concept was from ELLIOTT wave guidelines. Actually, series all of the series of sessions, they are from what we call the ELLIOTT wave guidelines. So we're carrying on with various guidelines, and we have covered several sessions until now, and several guidelines have already covered from those sessions, and today this is the third session. Now we expect to have 12 sessions. Now this is the third of the 12 sessions. So now we have still a long way to go in order to cover the advanced ELLIOTT wave. So make sure that you keep in touch by subscribing this channel in order to be able to get those notifications when new sessions are uploaded. So make sure you do that. But despite of subscribing, there are major areas that I remind you all the time. Make sure that you click this first button here to join our recommended broker, and then you can click the next button there for Telegram channel, and next for trading view, that is our recommended trading software. Then you can follow us on Instagram, and the last button there is for our trading system. Actually, a trading system that we usually use it mainly, we are concentrated with the wave principle, but we have a trading systems that sometimes is incorporated when we want to make decisions in a particular trade. So now we are going on with the third session, and I'm taking you straight to the whiteboard. Now let's go to the whiteboard. Now on the whiteboard, we already have this on advanced ELLIOTT wave. We have this so-called the advanced ELLIOTT wave, and mainly it is part 3 of 12. We are in the third part of 12 sessions expected in order to complete what to call the whole course in advanced ELLIOTT wave. So now the last session was about the guideline of channeling. Now remember, we are dealing with we are concentrated with guidelines. Actually, most of things in ELLIOTT wave actually they comes from what to call the rules and guidelines. So we have just a few rules, major rules. They are just a few, but guidelines, they are a lot of them. So we take a lot of time discussing those guidelines. So we are in the third thing today. It's not the third actually, because other sessions they were covering more than one guideline. So now today we have this guideline of channeling. I mean, not today. The last session was from the guideline of channeling. So this one was just very short, actually, not too long, and it was very simple, clear to everybody, because it is straight from what to call the price action. Now it is from the price action. Those who carry out technical analysis, actually they apply channeling, and they call it as trend lines. That's why I said that this one will be the easiest part in advanced ELLIOTT wave. So now we are carrying on with other parts of advanced ELLIOTT wave, and today we have another guideline, and our today's guideline is the guideline of volume. Our today's guideline is the guideline of volume. Now, what is volume, by the way? So we have many guidelines, and when we are talking about guidelines, those are the things that market respect sometimes, but sometimes may deviate from it. But ELLIOTT, when he was formulating the principle, he recognized, or he realized, that those things exist in the market. So the idea of volume also was one of the major consideration of ELLIOTT when he was formulating the principle. That's why he put it as a guideline. So as I'm preaching what we call the ELLIOTT wave gospel, this is what we call the ELLIOTT wave gospel. I'm preaching those things from ELLIOTT wave. So make sure that you follow me in order to be able to be saved from this principle. If you believe in this, actually it will save you. So as I'm preaching this today, I'm going to drill deep on the idea of volume. Most of traders actually they apply volume maybe without knowing on how this can be useful in knowing major areas for taking trades, major areas for exiting trades. So maybe you don't know those things or the applicability of the volume. So today let's keep in touch in order to be able to know how volume applies, and mainly we are linking it with what we call the Elliott-Wave principle. We are linking the idea of volume with the wave principle. So now volume is mainly the measure of the amount of currencies exchanged in a particular time. Actually, that is what we call a volume. So when volume increases, it means the amount of currencies exchanged it is high, and when the volume decreases, it means the amount of currencies exchanged in a particular time it is low. So it doesn't depend on the number of traders that are taking trade in a particular time. This mainly depends on the lots. Mainly, it depends on the lots that the traders maybe they can put in the market in a particular time. So sometimes they can there may be few traders taking trades, but in large lots, so the volume will be indicated as very high volume. So this is how volume may work. But in general or principally, volume is driven by the number of traders, because most of traders, they can have constant lots. Most of the time they can have a constant lots. So you'll find that variability in volume may be highly dependent on the number of traders in a particular point. But the major thing, or the major effect that will drive change in volume, will be the lots. Therefore, summation of those lots of those many traders trading in a particular time will have influence on the volume of volume in a market. So now, how will you know the idea of volume? Now, how will you recognize volume in the market? Because when we are talking about volume, maybe someone usually knows about the issues on candlesticks and other things in the market, so maybe not aware on where can I see the volume, where can how can I recognize the volume? So now we have certain indicators. We have certain indicators in the market that that may be used to indicate volumes. So I can take you straight to the idea of those indicators, and then I will take you back to Elliott-Wave. Now, this is generally an introduction to the concept of volume. This is not what I intended to teach you today. Mainly my intention is not now. I'll take you to my intention later, but now I'm describing what is volume to those who don't know how to know, how to identify volume, how they will recognize volume in the price chart. So mainly, I'm sure everybody may be using MetaTrader. Maybe everybody is using MetaTrader. So here is this is MetaTrader, and today is weekend. Actually, the market is off, so it is not running. So what I need is to show you how you will recognize volume. What are the indicators that will be used to show you volume? Because indicators, they are of various categories. We have volume indicators, we have trend indicators, we have oscillators. So most of traders, maybe they know that, oh, maybe we have RSI. They know that we have relative strength index, maybe it is running in this way, or we have moving averages running in this way, but they don't know the specific category to which that particular indicator belongs. So remember, we have those categorizations. So if you need to understand the changes in volume within the market, so you must specifically put what you call a volume indicator in your chart. And if you are interested with, let's say, the trend of the market, so you have to put in a trend indicator. Therefore, that indicator will be used mainly to indicate maybe changes in trend and other things, maybe holding the trend in a particular direction. Yeah, and those things are that actually necessary in the market also will be indicated by those various indicators. So now, mainly putting indicators. Now, I'm not here to teach you on how to put indicator, but now let's go with this step. Now we'll go to indicators, insert, and then indicator, and then you will go to volume indicator or anything else, but we have other categories right there. Trend indicators, you will see what are the trend indicators, average day, direction, and other things, Bollinger Bands, all are the trend indicators. Then what are the oscillators? Now you can choose which type of indicator which is maybe which you are interested. Actually, it is really not interest, but mainly you must be you must have knowledge about that indicator and understand what does it mean when it appears in this way or in anywhere around. So Now, some indicators, they can belong to more than one category. Example of these oscillators, you'll find that MACD is an oscillator. MACD is very somehow, to a certain extent, a very complex indicator. It incorporates many things. When I say that it is complex, it doesn't mean that it is hard to work with it. You can work with it in a very simple way, but it incorporates many things. So you can find that MACD sometimes you can put as an oscillator, but you will find that to a certain extent it shows us volume, because it has got those who call histograms. Actually, they are used to show volume and other things. So there is presentation about MACD. There is a presentation about MACD, so you can go and watch there and understand how MACD works and how it is a volume indicator, how it is an oscillator, so and things goes on. So volume indicators, you can go to volumes there, and then you can put any kind of volume indicator that you are interested to work with. So maybe let's say those volumes there. Volumes, those are the most common used volume indicators, actually, those volumes. So if you are interested in those things, you must be aware of how they work in the market. It's not only the matter of putting them here, but you must be aware of how they work in the market. So I just wanted to show you how you can understand the volume in the market. For those who don't know, maybe how they will recognize changes in the volume in the market. Actually, they have to use indicators in order to understand the changes in the volume in the market. So now let's go to our session, because it is not my intention now to tell you on how you will put those indicators. It's not my intention to explain on how you will use those volume indicators and other things. My intention is to understand how volume is a guideline in ELLIOTT wave, how it works, and how you can trade with volume. So that's my intention. So now in ELLIOTT wave, the idea of volume is directly linked with the issues on channeling. Yes, the idea of channeling, or the guideline of channeling. That's why those sessions are in a sequence. So we covered the idea of channeling. So if you have not watched the video on the guideline of channeling, it was the second session. So now go and watch the second session on the guideline of channeling, and then come to watch this third session, because they are directly linked to each other. So on the guideline of channeling, we learned that on the guideline of channeling, we can have something like this. I am not sure direct on how to channel, because all of the principles on how to channel I taught them on the guideline of channeling on the second session. So today I'm just showing you those channels and how volumes will apply on those channels. So on the idea of channeling, we learned that a price actually is supposed to move within a channel. The first wave, maybe the second wave, then we'll have the third wave, things goes on with the fourth, finally the fifth to the top. Now we expect the fifth to be within a channel also. Then also maybe the lower channel here, the lower channel also, the lower channel we expect it to touch those price there in the market. So now we have the first wave, we have the second wave, this is the second, and then we have the third, then we have the fourth, and finally the fifth wave. Now the idea of channeling is all about those, they call them as trend lines. Actually in price action, they call them as trend lines. So it's all about those trend lines that are drawn around there. So now when we come to the idea of volume, based on ELLIOTT wave principle, ELLIOTT recognized that volume changes in each wave. Actually, there is variation in volume, mainly I can say in that way. There is variation in volume between one wave and another wave. It means the first wave, the second wave, the third wave, or anywhere else in the market. Actually, the volume does not remain constant. But now ELLIOTT tried to figure out on how that volume variation in volume occurs, and he recognized something, and he put it as a guideline that we expect the third wave to have this type of volume, the fifth wave maybe to have this type of volume. Therefore, when we incorporate this in our trading, it will somehow guide us on how we can maybe make decisions in the market. So that's how we will apply the idea of volume. So now, mainly according to ELLIOTT wave, himself, always volume, always according to ELLIOTT wave, volume was seen volume was seen to be very high. Volume was seen to be very high in the third wave. Usually it was like this. Volume was seen to be very high in the third wave. And why in the third wave usually volume was seen to be very high? Now this is related with the issues on the issues. I think we'll cover this. I covered on the basics for ELLIOTT wave, but I'll cover it again in advanced ELLIOTT wave. It is based on the idea of wave personality. Now, when we will cover the idea of wave personality, actually we will realize why volume in the third wave increases. Now, mainly ELLIOTT wave recognized that the third wave has the highest volume. The third wave, this one. If now this one is the part of the market move where the volume is expected to be very high. Why? Because we're expecting the third wave. Most of traders, they came in the market, and mainly most of the traders, maybe they may put those high lots and other things. That's why the volume actually the volume goes high. Then also the principle shows that in the fifth wave, also the principle according to ELLIOTT wave also, he recognized that in the fifth wave, always volume may be high than the third wave, or volume may be equal to the third wave, and sometimes volume may be less than in the third wave. But mainly in the first wave, the volume is low. In the first wave, the volume is low. Actually, when we compare the first wave and the third, actually volume is low in the first wave. And also, according to guideline of personality, also we have reasons on why on the first wave the volume is low. So make sure that you keep on you keep in touch in order to get that that lesson on the guideline of personality, because on the series of those sessions I will have it. I don't remember which session will be on the personality, but I don't know which one will be on the personality, but make sure you keep in touch in order to be able to link the things that I'm talking here, the idea of personality, if you don't know it. So now the first wave has low volume compared to the third, but the fifth wave is flexible. The fifth wave is flexible. The fifth wave now can have greater or equal volume to the third wave. Can have greater or equal volume to the third wave, but sometimes can have less volume than the third wave. So it has got those different ways in which volume may be in the fifth wave. So now those are the issues on how volume may change and other things, and it is driven by the number of lots placed there, or the number of traders that are participating in the market by the particular time, and the volume is all about the amount of currencies changed in the particular time. So now this is the idea, and I have linked you to the issue on indicators. I have linked you with the issues on indicators on how you recognize volume. So now let us see on how those indicators may show us variability in volume. So let us see how indicators may show us the variability of volume, and then why we say that maybe the third wave usually has high volume, and how we'll use that that indicator to recognize and to trade with that indication of that high volume. So according to ELLIOTT wave, principle, actually, those are some of the quotes that I usually share on Instagram. So follow @forex_tz on Instagram. There are various quotes that I usually share there, and mainly they show principles, they show guidelines, they show rules, and everything else about the wave, about the wave principle. So now, according to the wave principle, or according to ELLIOTT wave, actually, indicators, they should not be disregarded when you are trading. Actually, they are acceptable. Indicators, they are acceptable, but you should not rely on indicator by itself. To make a trading decision, you should not rely on an indicator. You are not advised to rely on indicator itself. Maybe you are using a volume. Maybe you have an idea that maybe when the volume changes in this way, it indicates maybe a change in trend. So now you will find that not only those indications that you have recognized in the indicator, not only that should be your criteria for making decision in the market. So you have to incorporate many things. You have to incorporate a lot of things more than an indicator itself, but it should not be disregarded. So now, how are we using an indicator based on the wave principle? Based on the wave principle, an indicator is used as an aid. Now remember this. According to wave principle, an indicator is used as an aid to wave counts. Wave counts. In order to have a perfect wave count, an indicator is usually used as an aid. It will help you to recognize, oh, this is the third wave, this will be the fifth, and other things goes on. So most traders actually, they face difficulties trading with the wave principle because maybe sometimes they don't incorporate any indicator to the accounts. They don't know the link between the accounts and maybe with the indicator. So today, let us see how you will use indicator to have a perfect count. So now we have this, or maybe I can put it right down there. I can put it again here. We can have a price chart. I need to show how indicator may be used to recognize volume and make decision in the market. So we can have this count, or 1, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 to the top, something like this. So having this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the top, you will find that this is in a price chart. This is in a price chart. So then you can have an indicator. You can have an indicator. Let's say now mainly I have shown you those volume indicators, but volume can be you can use MACD to identify volume. Also, you can use RSI, relative strength index. When the strength increases, it means there is a high volume there. So maybe let's say you are using RSI. So you have a price chart in the top, then you have RSI at the bottom. So how do you expect the changes in the volume in RSI to be when the price is moving from the first wave? Now we have the first wave, we have the second one, then we have the third wave, then we have the fourth, and finally we have the fifth wave. So now how volume is going to change from the first wave, second, third, and other things goes on. So RSI usually, that's how I'm using RSI. Actually, you'll find that in my chart I incorporate RSI and MACD. And usually I make my count decisions based on RSI mainly, deciding that this is the first wave, this is the second, the third. Actually, I rely on RSI. Actually, I usually incorporate those informations in RSI, and then I link to the movement in the price chart. So usually I use RSI, but MACD, somehow I use it. So now how RSI will be changing or how it will be moving to indicate changes in the volume. So you will find that in the first wave, when the first wave started to move, RSI will rise up. RSI will rise up as usual in the first wave. Then when the second wave was formed, RSI will move down as usual. So they will be moving, they will be moving in the same direction. All of them, I mean price and RSI, they will be moving in the same direction. When the price rise up, RSI also will rise up. So now in the third wave, price also rise up. Now this is in an uptrend. So now in the third wave, price rise up. But I have already said that in the third wave, it is where there is high volume. So now high volume, how it is indicated, you will find that RSI, it will be moving very aggressively to the top. RSI in the third wave will move very aggressively to the top. And then after completion of the third wave, then in the fourth wave, price will move, volume will move down again. RSI will move down, down again in the fourth wave. And finally in the fifth, actually this will be will vary depending on the number of traders or number of lots that are traded in the fifth wave. So now how I used to identify the wave counts. So if I label this as the first wave, now if I label this as the first wave, I look the pullback will be the second wave, and then where will I find the third wave? Where will I find that this is exactly the third wave? Because you can find something in the market is looking like maybe the third wave or anything else, but how will I confidently label a particular wave as the third wave. I look on RSI. The point where RSI has moved strongly, it's where I usually expect that this should be the third wave. So I'll find that here the price has moved strongly to the top. And usually when I check in a price chart also to shows it the longest part of the price move. So I will be confidently labeling this as the third wave because I have incorporated with the strength of the price in RSI. So now things goes on. Now I want to show you in the fifth wave the variability in the fifth wave. Now in the fifth wave it depends. Sometimes I've said that the first wave, usually it has got less volume. It has got less volume compared to the third wave. Usually this is almost common. It is almost in the same way most of the time. Actually it is I will cover it in a personality, and then we'll recognize this. We'll understand why it is in such way. So now the first wave usually has got less volume compared to the third, and now I'm comparing those waves that are moving in a same direction as the high degree wave. Those pullbacks and other things, actually I don't take them into consideration. So now then we have the third wave. Now we have the third wave with the fifth. Usually the third wave is expected to have a greater volume compared to the fifth. Now that's the first way in which the third and the fifth are related, and sometimes we expect that. Now here the third wave is expected to have greater. Now let's put those things together. It is expected to have greater, or it is expected to have greater or equal. Third wave is expected to have greater or equal volume to the fifth wave, and finally the fifth wave. The fifth wave is expected sometimes to have greater volume compared to the third. Sometimes it's like this. Sometimes the third wave may have lower volume compared to the fifth. So now, in all of these conditions, a trader must have an alarm in our brain that will ring when the fifth wave is formed. And actually this will be very useful to recognize completion of the move in a particular trend, or if you are trading pullbacks, actually this will be very useful to recognize pullbacks and other things. So now when ignore the idea of the first and the third, let's concentrate on the third and the fifth. So now when the third wave has got greater volume or equal to the fifth. When the third wave has got greater volume or equal to the fifth. Now, what do we usually expect? Now, let's go to the chart. Now, usually when we have two things there, we have two things that are expected to happen. We expect to have extension. We have two conditions there that are expected to happen. We expect to have extension in the fifth, but sometimes we expect to have truncation. We expect to have truncation in the fifth wave. So now, those two conditions are related with those two situations in terms of volume over there. So now, if the third wave has got has got greater volume, the third wave has got greater volume or equal to the fifth wave. Is greater or is equal to the fifth wave. In most of cases, we expect truncation. In most of cases, we expect truncation, and this mainly is when it has got an equal volume. Mainly, it's when it has got an equal volume. When the third wave, now it is when the third wave has got an equal volume with the fifth, or when the third wave has got greater volume than the fifth. It is when we expect to have what we call a truncation. Now in those two conditions we expect truncation. And then now sometimes you'll find that a volume in the fifth wave is greater than the volume in the third wave. Now, when this occurs, usually we expect extension. Now, when I'm talking about extension, I covered this in the first session. In the first session on Advanced ELLIOTT wave, I covered the idea of extension. Extension can occur in the first wave, in the third wave, or in the fifth wave. And the guideline is not all of the waves, that's the first, the third, and the fifth can be extended. Only one is usually extended. So when extension occurs in the fifth wave, and when you look on the volume indicator, you will find that the volume in the fifth wave is very high. So now let us see the idea of truncation. Let us see the idea of truncation. Now, how the RSI will look like when there is truncation, and mainly here we will link with what we call, in most of cases, not all the time, it will link with the idea of divergence. Usually in the third wave, when in the fifth wave, when the volume is low, in the fifth wave, when the volume is low, you will find that the price chart is moving up. But you will find that, and now it has moved beyond this third, the top of the third. But you will find that the RSI has this kind of movement. It moves up sharply and then it drops. Something like this. Now, when you recognize this, when we are making our counts, we had this as the first, we had this as the second, and then we had the third, and finally we had the fourth. And you find that the fifth actually has fallen short. Now, you will find that the fifth has fallen short. Now, when the fifth in RSI now, in RSI, you will find that the fifth has fallen short. So now, for those who know the idea of divergence, you will find that the price is moving up. The price is still rising, but the volume here, the volume indicator, it is falling. So when the price is still rising up and the volume is the volume has fallen. So now technically this, I can explain this in that way. Now the price is still making the higher highs, but RSI has failed to make high highs. It's what we call divergence. This is what we call divergence. So divergence, just most of the traders, they use this to make trading decisions. When divergence occurs, this indicates the end of the movement of price in a particular direction. When divergence occurs, actually this indicates the end of the movement of price in a particular direction. So now, I had linked the issues on divergence, but my intention was to explain the idea of extension and truncation. So now you'll find that divergence occurs when the volume in the fifth wave is less or is equal. When the volume in the fifth wave is less or is equal to the volume in the third wave, is less or equal to the volume in the third wave, usually we expect to have this divergence. Therefore, now price will still keeping on rising, but the power or the force at which it is rising, it's not equal to that in the third wave. Therefore, this indicator will recognize that the force which is driving the price in the fifth wave is less to that which was driving price in the third wave. That's why this will result into a failure. This is what we call the failure. Well, this we call the failure or anything else. This is like, it is truncation, but mainly we consider this in RSI. It is truncation, but mainly we consider this in RSI. But sometimes you'll find that now in the second case, when fifth has got greater volume, when the force that drive price in the fifth wave is greater than the one that was driving price in the third wave, it is when the fifth is extended. So make sure you cover the idea of extension, you will understand this. So it is when the fifth wave is extended. So extension in the fifth wave will lead into this RSI. Now this mainly will lead into RSI keeping on racing, keeping on moving higher highs. Now this will keep on moving. Let me clear this part. Now, this will lead into RSI keeping on making higher highs, like how the price is moving there. Like how the price is moving higher, is making higher highs, so RSI will still be making higher highs. So now this is when the volume in the fifth wave is greater to that in the third. But when it is equal or when it is less, usually we expect that it is when we expect that there will be divergence here. Now something like that. So now things goes on whereby when the price is moving like this, the price has risen. Sometimes we will find that divergence can also be formed during correction. Divergence can also be formed during correction, especially when you have things like expanding flats. Now I can link this also. I can link this to what we have covered here. Sometimes when you have things like expanding flats, you can observe or you can see divergence also. When you have things like expanding flat, you'll find that zigzag or anything else, but mainly it is very clear in expanding flat. You'll find that this one may correct as A, then B to the top, then we expect C to move down like this. So now you will find that this is A, then B has broken the top of this, the beginning of this wave A. So now this is expanding flat, and then C has broken the level to which wave A ended. So this is expanding flat. So now how now divergence will be indicated in RSI? You will find that now price in RSI, now volume goes down as usual. Volume goes down in wave A, but this rise in wave B, it's just an emotional rise. We call it as an emotional. We'll cover it in an idea of personality. So you'll find that this one, there is just a failure somewhere there, then things goes on. So most of traders, they recognize this one to this one. They recognize this mainly in technical analysis, in price action. They just recognize this divergence without knowing maybe how this has occurred. So if you incorporate the issues on divergence and other things in the wave principle, you will find that now you will be able to recognize what's going on in the market. So like here, I will recognize that due to emotional rise in price in wave B. And why is that emotional rise? Because most of traders, when this pullback then goes on, they think that trend is resuming. So most of traders, they come in the market. So this one will rise up emotionally, but RSI will recognize the decrease in the volume of traders that will participate in this, and that decrease usually is commonly detected in the fifth wave. Usually decrease is detected in the fifth wave. That's why divergence is mainly expected to be seen in the fifth wave. So now those are the most common ideas on how you can play with volume and wave counts. So now, the most common volume indicator, we have this MACD. We have this MACD, the moving average convergence divergence. Actually, I explained this very well in one of my sessions, so make sure you cover that. I explained the MACD, and it was in a very detailed way. So you'll learn also on how MACD works. So now in MACD, volume is indicated by histograms. In MACD, we have those who call the histograms. So histograms, they indicate the volume. So if you need to incorporate many informations, now you can use MACD histograms to recognize variation in volume between various wave counts. So now when the first wave was rising, you'll find that those histograms also will be very, very long. Then when wave 2 is going down, actually histograms also, they will start falling actually in that way. Those who know MACD, they actually understand me what I'm talking about, those histograms. Then in the third wave, histograms actually, they will be, because the volume is very high, you'll find that they are the longest part of histograms actually. Therefore, when I'm making wave counts in relation to MACD, actually, the point where I'll find that histograms, they are the longest actually is where I label it the third wave. This will be the third wave. Then in the fourth, volume actually goes down as usual. The volume will go down in the fourth. Then in the fifth wave, when the price is rising, when the price is rising, you will find that MACD histogram, they no longer keep on rising. You find that MACD histograms, they no longer keep on rising. Therefore, when MACD histograms, they are keeping on falling, while the price is keeping on rising, this is what we call divergence. So you can you can observe divergence in now this was the RSI. So this was my price chart. So the price is rising in the fifth. This one, the fifth wave. Price is rising in the fifth, but MACD histograms, they are no longer rising, they are falling. So this is what we call divergence. And actually here what we'll be dealing with is the volume. So when MACD, they are the longest, and then they are the longest, it's the point where there's a high volume. It is where also RSI will be moving very strongly to the particular direction. So now that's how the volume works, and this is a very advanced thing that most of the mentors, they cannot tell you. They actually use it, but they don't tell you, and mainly they need you to pay for this. They need you to pay for this in order to be trained. So I'm doing this for free. But now if you need to get a clear understanding, if you need to get a clear or a deep understanding, make sure that you subscribe for the paid course. Actually, I'm doing this as a free lecture. Actually, it is just a free lecture. I'm not linking into the real market. So we're supposed to link with the market in order to have a clear understanding. So make sure that you subscribe for our paid course. We have paid courses for advanced, for basics, and for everything in forex. So I'm doing this for free, but it's not in detail like how people get when they subscribe for paid courses. Now the final thing on how you can use the issues on the volumes. The final thing on how you can use the volumes is on how you can identify those who call the reversals. Now we have things known as reversals in the market. Reversal in the market, the point at which market has moved has kept on moving in a particular direction, and then it is going to reverse. It means that a particular trend has been completed in a particular direction. So now volume is also used to recognize what to call the reversals. So now how will you recognize the reversals? Now in a price chart, now please you'll make you'll make a back test in a real market, and then you'll see this always applies. This applies. You'll use MACD and RSI. Usually in a price chart and a MACD, let's say MACD histograms, you'll recognize that a point at which histograms were the longest, it will mark the point at which was it will mark the highest point in a price chart, and after that longest part of the histograms, the next move will be in opposite direction. Then it will fall, and finally this reversal at this point. A reversal at this point also will be marked by shortest histograms, or we can have longest histogram in opposite direction, because some MACD indicators, they can draw histograms in either direction. When the trend is down, histograms are formed in a downside. So you can find that when it forms longest histograms in opposite direction, it's where we'll mark the turning point for this pullback. And then market goes on. This high followed by this pullback will be marked by also the longest histograms. So in most cases, that's how you are going to use those volumes in trading. That's how you are going to use those volumes in trading. So those are the major things that I expected to cover. But additionally, when the market is moving in relation to the idea of volumes, usually price is moving in most of contexts. In most of contexts, actually, price is moving in 45 degrees. Usually, price moving in 45 degrees. Yeah. Now, I need to link this with the idea of recognizing those reversals also. You will find that usually price moves in this way: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Usually is almost 45 degrees. Is almost 45 degrees. That's how the market moves. So, how in relation to volume now? How can you recognize reversals? How can you recognize reversals? Now, in most of cases, when a reversal is about to occur, usually the price move changes, the price move or the market structure, it changes from 45 to 90 degree. In most of cases, it moved to 90. Maybe it cannot be exactly 90, but actually it will form a structure that is beyond this 45 degree. So now, having 45 move, now when the market is trending, it will be forming something like this: goes up, goes back, goes back, goes back, sharp. When it forms something like this, this will be a major indicator of the market turn. This is the major indicator of the market turn. Why it forms this sharp move? Why it forms this sharp move? This means that most of the traders comes in the market. Many traders come in the market. Therefore, there was high volume. This indicates that here there was high volume. Therefore, when the volume is the highest, it's the point where the market is going to turn. When the volume is the highest, it's where the market is going to turn. So now you can use this market structure in relation to the idea of volume to be able to know the reversals in the market, to know the issues on reversals. So now that is all. That's all, and those are the major things that I was planned to present to you today. And yes, I have almost covered them. And now we have to get ready for the next session. We have to get ready for the fourth session, and mainly the fourth session. Actually, it will be too short. I think it will be too short. And this one, I said that will be short, but I have talked a lot. I've talked a lot, and the session is too long. But it's not too bad because we have shared the very useful things. So now incorporate those things in your trading. You have to incorporate those things. Everything that I'm teaching in advanced ELLIOTT, actually make sure you incorporate them. They are not used separately. Someone may maybe try to say, oh, I'm going to apply volumes today, I need to trade with the volumes. No, don't exclude other things. We incorporate all of those things to get a single thing. We get a single thing when we are trading. We make decision from indications maybe from everything that we have been studied in what we call the advanced ELLIOTT wave, also in the basic key for ELLIOTT wave. So now I'm sure that you have got very useful informations. So what you're supposed to do is make sure you put down you put your comment there in the comment section. Now make sure you put anything. Put anything. Either you like the session, you don't like the session, you have any suggestion, anything else. Now put it in the comment section. And also you have to like this video, like this. You have to hit the thumb up button. You have to like this video, and also you have to share it to your friends, actually, because those are very limited things actually to find them on the internet. There are very few mentors that can bring this to traders. So make sure that you share with your fellows in order for them to get benefited from those free contents. And in order to have a full guide, on ELLIOTT wave, please make sure that you subscribe for the paid course. So thank you for your time, and have a nice time also, and have a nice trading, and also make sure that you follow this channel all the time. Thank you.